So welcome everybody to the second hour of Mindshifters Radio. And today is Friday, March the 4th, 2022. And our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. We'd love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. We'll give Michael a minute to get dialed in. And I will invite everybody to go to our website, and if you scroll down to events or you click on schedule, either one, you'll see a new link that says Global Online Book Club. I announced this yesterday morning in a newsletter that I sent out yesterday. If you're not on our mailing list, if you did not get that newsletter, then you need to join our mailing list so that you get all of our up-to-date news. You can pick up the old archived newsletters out there on our website as well. But anyway, I had announced we were invited to participate. It's a global book club. Yinka has been doing this book club for 4 years. And she said it's not just like any other book club, and I'm actually reading what she wrote, and I've got this on our website. She said they come together 6 times a week to put into practice the teaching of the books that they read. And I think that's, she does like maybe a morning and an evening class 3 days a week. I'm not absolutely sure. We will get that information. But she says she came across and read the Why Is This Happening to Me Again and decided to add it to the club reading. And so they started on this last night. They actually started by showing the PowerPoint presentation. And I'll put links to both of these in the notes for today. But they started with the PowerPoint presentation that Bill Constantino did for us, and then they started kind of going chapter by chapter. She gave a highlight of what each chapter title was and kind of what it was about, and then invited Michael and I to talk. I went into a different room than Michael was in. They separate out in Zoom. I'm not real familiar with how that works, but I made a really nice connection out there in the other room, and Michael, it sounds like he really tapped in. She wrote an email to him, and he shared it with me, just saying how awesome it was to have the author of the book there and how much everybody got out of it, and invited us to participate again. And they're actually going to go through the worksheet, and they wanted Michael to participate in directing them through that worksheet. She asked for support. She said, that she knows that it makes a big change, but she's not sure she understands it enough to explain how to do the worksheet herself. And so she asked for that assistance. And so I think that's pretty awesome. And that'll be something that we may participate in once or twice a month as they're going through the book. I'm not sure at what pace they'll go through. Starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. She's over in the UK. There's people from all over the globe. The lady that I was talking to last night was from Ireland. And so it's 8:30 p.m. their time. And I had to leave after about an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes because I needed to get Aria ready to go home. And I think Michael stayed on there for about 3 hours. So it was just a tremendous reception, and everybody was just so ready and absorbing it. And Michael, you have joined us now, so I'll let you continue. I was just telling about the book club and where the link is on our website now, and that we will add information as we know what days and times and things like that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. This young lady's been running book clubs out of her office in England for about 4 years now, and it was kind of fun that she had just gotten the book. I haven't asked her how she came in touch with it, but she'd gotten it, and it made such a shift in her life that for the first time in 4 years of running the book club, she's like, I'm going to see if we can get the author to participate. So it was fun to be part of that, and very excited crowd, just very receptive. It's interesting. It's the level of receptivity that I saw when I was out in Los Angeles and Las Vegas last week was monumental. And it was like a new level of receptivity. And then this book club last night was just right up there on par with it. So maybe there's a shift of some kind, maybe something else that I've handled in my own field that opens space up. But anyway, it was definitely a very excited group, and just so ready for support, so ready to hear the tools. And a couple of people shared that, just we talked about, here I am all by myself. It's like, well, no, we've got 40 some people on this call, and everybody's here. We talked, the woman who's running it did a summary of each of the chapters, just brief. And one of the chapters, of course, is on being the presence of love. And so we stopped and did a meditation on that. And as I pointed out, that, here's, and time and space don't mean anything to energy. So here's a whole group of people that are just focusing and extending love to you right now. And this woman just took a breath, opened up, and got it. There's another woman who was whose mother was in the Holocaust and had family members die, and she was in just a heavy place. And she softened and opened and grinned and smiled. She just made this shift. So ready. So it was pretty cool, pretty sweet. So what a privilege. What a privilege. So we're moving in the direction of critical mass, getting enough people through the gate of living as human beings to literally make a shift in the whole planet. So, there are a lot of people working in that direction in a lot of different fields with different teachings. And so it's good to be part of that team that's delivering a new way of thinking to the planet. And the new way of thinking, of course, is the thinking of just the understanding, and then the practice of realizing that whatever my mind tells me, whatever the lies are in my perceptual construct, that my pain is the responsibility of everybody else, to just come to understand that, no, I am responsible for this. And the fact that I'm responsible, if I choose to take that level of responsibility, I can access parts of my mind that otherwise I hide from myself. And when I access those parts, I can heal them. It's just monumental. And there were a couple of folks who were really looking for complexity and making it hard, difficult. It's like, no, it's really simple. It's really simple. Here's the game. Here's the bottom line of healing. I was taught this about 30 years ago. And that is that if you are diseased in body, mind, soul, spirit, relationship, or finances, there's an energy in you that needs to be forgiven. That's all. And all you need to do is use the technology to bring that part of your mind that you want to heal, that you've been hiding from yourself, and maybe your bloodline's been hiding it for generations, and enter the practice of holding to the space of conscious active love. And when those two things meet, everything unlike love dissolves. Everything that gets exposed in that circumstance is dissolved. And of course, all of the understanding, the tools that go along with it, that you need to build vitality. You can't eat the worst junk in the world. You can't eat a ton of garbage. It's what they call food, and it actually is criminal to be calling what most of this culture serves. It's criminal to call it food because it's not food. It's mostly plastic junk. And so to realize that, there are ways to build your vitality, to strengthen yourself, to be able to access those deeper things. And there's the practice of kind of a two-sided coin. There's the practice of tapping into and recognizing yourself as love and cultivating your presence as love in your physiology. And then as you strengthen that, you strengthen your vitality, then more and more of what has been hidden will begin to surface. Now, unfortunately, we made this point in last night's presentation, that's not Dr. Feelgood. I wish we could adjust this whole game so that every healing process was Dr. Feelgood, was easy and but unfortunately, your healing process will only be as difficult and challenging as the energetic patterns of your traumas. Now, you can take a major life trauma and with sufficient willingness be finished with it in seconds. But you can experience the energy of that major life trauma. You don't have to fall into it. You don't have to buy into it. You don't have to identify with it. But you do have to process it out. if you've got a house that's filled with garbage and junk, if you want a clean house, you're going to have to handle it and clean it out. That's all. It's just, really very simple. And as long as we're living in a state of resistance, I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to go, well, of course I want to heal, but I don't want to deal with this. Well, you've now got conflicting goals. So the willingness to embrace whatever's there and to do what it takes to reach higher levels of vitality so that you can access those things, that you can be vitalized and move through those things is just, a key step in the process. And on the other side is more and more and more serenity, more aliveness, more joy, more creativity, more physiological pleasure. Physiology is designed to function on love, and when love flows through a cell, it is exciting and it's designed to be bliss. But when we start moving into hostility or fear, we can cover up the bliss. So the whole bottom line of the work is returning to our original state. And if you ever question what that state is, just remember the time when you held a newborn child. And if you don't have a newborn child story, one of the women last night said, well, I've never had children. So let's tap in. Let me loan you my newborn child story. It was a Friday afternoon, about 3:40 in the afternoon, when we realized that my wife was in labor and getting ready to deliver our daughter. An hour later, I got to catch her. And she opened her eyes, and with the crystal clear lock on my eyes, they say a child can't focus for several days. Well, I know that's not a fact, because Krista Joy just focused. And actually, we didn't even have a name for her. But in the birthing process, it was just like really clear. She presented her name, and it was Krista Joy. And that gaze from her, that look from her, and the energy of the presence of that purity of love was just overwhelmingly powerful. Sent me into such a state, and you've heard me say many times that in order to heal, you've got to be out of your mind. I literally couldn't think a thought. There was no thinking in anything that I did or said. It was like direct transmission. And we all have a right to live there. So the idea of the work is to wake up from, as the chapter in the book, Waking from the Has-Been. We got this has-been. We've got this carbon-based memory system that's filled with the memories of 1,000 generations. Now, the wonderment is there, the power is there, the sweetness is there, the capabilities, the strengths, the powers are all there. Sadly, unfortunately, so are the rages and the fears and the hatreds and the vengeances. If you look at where you live each day, if you were to take on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being would be extreme bliss, 1 would be pure total misery. My offering is that we're designed to live at a 10 or a 10 plus. And if we're not living at that space, then we've got work to do. And the work is a work of forgiveness. Literally, the removal of those energetic patterns that hold us back from who we are, that hold us down. So that's the objective of this work, and that's what we're here to bring forward on a global scale. And we're delighted that you're here to be part of the process. And if you're out there in listener land and you're on one of those stations where we can't see you, our call-in number is 563-999-3581. If you call that number, you'll be listening to the show. And if you have a question, if you push 1, that'll raise a hand in the phone queue, and we'll be having a conversation. So what's on your mind? How can we support you? 563 999-3581.
We have a hand up.
Awesome. Let's say hello.
541, I believe it's Celinda. You're on the air.
Yes, it is, Celinda. Good morning, and how are you two?
Good morning. I'm rocking, doing well.
And you, Jeanie?
I'm just sitting in the chair getting an ozone treatment.
My question, I have a simple question, and that is, have you considered asking the host of this book club if this your sessions that you have with them could be added to our whyagain.org as an archive?
Yeah, I just asked. I just sent her the question. There was some discussion last night, and I didn't really quite get whether they were recording it or not. But if it's being if it was recorded, and I don't know. I mean, it was a really awesome session. I mean, the questions just came fast, and the response of everybody was just it was like the community really was connected and really working together. So I just sent a text out to her just a few minutes for our Facebook message asking if it had been recorded. And if so, then we'll get it on the archives for sure. And if not, the future ones will ask that they be recorded.
Perfect.
And the people that were in attendance, she says that they have over 2,000 members, and that usually in any one session they'll have anywhere from 10 to 100 people at every session. And they may be different people, but they're from all over the world. I mean, they're not even from the same country or the same continent. It's awesome.
Beautiful. I would be very interested in checking that out. Now, I'm on the East Coast, so what time do they meet on your time so I can adjust?
3:30, and I put the link to it in the website.
Okay. And it'll be the same Zoom link, I assume, for every time?
I believe it is, yes. And we're talking right now about doing something. Last night we had planned to get into the worksheet, but there were so many questions that we didn't even touch the worksheet. We went for a little better than 3 hours. And so we're talking about doing another one either on Tuesday or Thursday. And we'll certainly be letting everybody know as soon as we get that settled.
Sweet. I'm certainly hoping here. Yeah, I'm certainly hoping here that I can join. It's just a matter of we have a very eclectic life, and so in order to get time to be with Larry and the chores and things like that, and to balance my life out with the rest of my life, then I just need to be able to plan those things in and see how they impact the whole relationship.
Sure, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything is in its right timing, and every choice we make is the best choice in that moment. So for that moment in time, it's the ripest choice we can make. So I'm just kind of flowing along with it. I'm just appreciating what is popping in my brain cells as a result of my journey with you all, and my journey with all of my fellow soul travelers on the way, wherever they are and however they appear. And so thank you.
Delighted to be on the team, young lady.
Delighted to have you be my team. And I am complete.
All right, young lady. You have a blessed one.
You also.
Okay, take care. And we'll do a shout out to Susan Bingham. I just saw on Facebook that she has a new grandbaby in her family. Sweet little face that she posted. So Susan, if you're out there, our congratulations and accolades, and it'll be sweet to watch that one grow under your tutelage.
And Susan just pressed 1, so I've got her turned on.
Well, Grandma, how many is this?
I know nothing about this baby. So this must be another Susan Bingham who had a grandchild.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh,
yeah.
You're kidding.
I'd love to know about it. Yeah. I don't think anybody is in line to have a baby in my immediate family, but thanks for the congratulations.
Well, maybe you can do it vicariously. Oh, that's really strange.
I'll have to go on, and that's very strange. Okay. Well, my name is pretty common, so if it just is Susan Bingham, maybe, yeah.
Okay. You know, I didn't look closely. I just saw it, and I made a comment, and interesting. I'm just looking to see if I can find it, and it's already gone from my list. Oh, well, I'm only seeing one. Oh, okay. It was my mistake. It's actually another person that we know in Lansing, Michigan, Susan Beckman, who's a psychologist there that we've known for several years, and she popped in, and I didn't look carefully. So.
Okay.
Flynn Landry Beckman. So my mistake, but congratulations on your babies anyway. But you don't have any little ones anymore, do you?
No, they're all the youngest two are juniors in high school. Grandbabies. So this would have been a great grandbaby, I guess. Yeah.
It's time for great to start, is it?
Yeah. We're not champing at the bit.
You're not in a rush?
No. No. Nobody's married of the bunch yet.
No. Well, it's kind of fun with Jeanie's dad. Of course, he's not home yet, but it's kind of fun to watch him with this great grand and of all of his grandchildren and great grandchildren. This is the first one that he's actually kind of lived with. She's there 3 days a week, so having these bookends, one being from 0 to 3.5, and the other one now at 89. It's really fun to watch them together. So what else is exciting in your world? How do you be?
I'm well, thanks. I saw Jeanie's post a little while ago about what happened with the stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about that on here, but I did have an idea.
That's ridiculous. I tell you, what they keep doing is, it's like 6 different people, and they'll pop on and say, I'll be there by 10 o'clock. And so then I tell everybody else that pops on, I have somebody coming by 10, and then I have to write them back and say, okay, they didn't show up. Do you still want it? Yeah, I'll be there within the hour. And then they don't come up. And they did that to me for the last 2 days, and I have rearranged my afternoons to hang out here to see if they show up. And it's like, I'm not playing this cat and mouse game anymore. Forget it. It's going to the landfill.
Are they doing it to you? Those people, boy.
They have. They've been doing this for 3 days, and I'm done with it. It's done. It's going to the landfill. Forget it.
Oh, no. You know what you should do, Jeanie? I have a better idea, and this really works for us.
Okay.
On Craigslist, under free stuff. And you don't wait for anybody. You put it out on the curb. And people drive by and they pick through it, and it takes 2 hours or something, and then it's depending on where you are. My stuff disappeared immediately.
Now you do that because this is crazy. It's like not playing your game anymore. But
that's a good idea. Just put it out on the curb, and people who want going by will pick it up.
Right.
And of course, the fact that we're kind of in a low traffic area, putting it on Craigslist is a great idea, Susan.
Well, I put it on
maybe Craigslist and
the
Facebook,
marketplace, and there's also a couple of things like Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee flea market or yard sales or whatever different pages that are out on the Facebook, and so I've added it to all those local ones. And these people just keep popping up. It's like one after the other, and they're each one doing the exact same thing. So it's like, what is this? Is this a game?
Why is this happening to me again?
People, yeah, but why do different people do the same thing? It's like, is it some kind of a Facebook game to try to see how you can string somebody along or something? I don't know. Susan said, just texted me and said her phone just dropped.
It couldn't have anything to do with the high energy wave leaving your mind when you think of it.
Well, the highest energy wave is to get it out of here before you get home on Tuesday, because you're liable to think of something to use it for and keep it. And it's not going back to the shed again. It's going somewhere before Tuesday.
Okay. Oh, well. And I assume that probably with it warming up a little, are the little green sprouts coming up in the garden? Or cover crop?
Actually, no. I went back there and looked, and there's nothing green sticking up. However, it looks like there's been squirrels or rabbits or something digging holes all in it. So, I mean, it's got little holes.
They're going after the seeds. Yeah, they're going after the seeds. So
yeah.
We can feed them, too. There's lots.
Yeah. Susan says she can't get back on. It keeps kicking her off. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's an issue with the switchboard. She said just dropped and dropped again.
Ouch.
So
well, maybe we'd drop a note to Blog Talk and let them know that we're having a challenge. And other than that, do we have anybody else out there in the phone queue with a hand up?
Not right at the present. Somebody press 1. We've got 35 minutes.
Yeah, we've got lots of time for some good conversation. So it was interesting last night. I mean, there was a lineup of questions, and it just didn't stop. There was no intermission at all with questions. We just went from one to another to another. So I'd be willing for that to happen today on the show, so we can have dialogue.
We have a hand. And it's area code 240. You are on the air. Who do we have?
Thank you so much. So good afternoon. I am Olivia, and I was actually on the call last night. So it was really amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Rice. It was really incredible to just be in that space and to witness that. To witness that. It was just incredible. So I wanted.
That was a wonderful group last night, wasn't it?
It was. It really is such a special group. I mean, everything that you've said is very accurate about the group, because I've been with the group for about 6 months now, and it's just a certain kind of connectivity that's there. And like you mentioned, it was just a space of love. So like everything that people shared was received in love and just held in love. So I think it was really powerful because of that.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. So did everything that we shared last night make sense for you, Olivia?
Yes, it did. It absolutely did. And I have a related question. So you spoke about healing and the need for sort of forgiveness, and then thinking back in terms of generations and your ancestors. And I suppose the question that I had was, if there are certain things that maybe your ancestors have gone through or experienced, what are some of the ways that you would encourage us to identify those things? So I may not know, for instance, if 6 generations back there was physical abuse or any kind of abuse that happened to my grandmother. Like how would you advise that I identify those things in the areas that I need to heal to move forward?
Well, if you remember last night, the young lady from Scotland shared how she'd moved to this small village, and there was a pub where the farmers came to gossip and do their thing, and how she was really appalled at some of the stories they told about their children. And if you remember, she really started to let herself listen and breathe. All of a sudden, she got direct instructions. And this is in Aramaic. We're told that there's this, by definition, a feminine elemental force that does 2 things. It undoes the effects of our errors and tells us the truth. And we're willing to listen the instructions will come that simply. And, kind of one of my tongue-in-cheek lines that I use all the time is that in order to heal, you've got to be out of your mind. We've got to stop listening to this mind that babbles on and on and on about anything and everything that goes. And as you quiet that, and forgiveness, as you apply that Aramaic forgiveness tool, what happens is around each issue where perhaps your mind is making a lot of noise, your mind will tend to quiet down, and you'll develop this faculty of literally being able to decode those things that in the past were so covered up and so hidden that they seemed impossible to even start to figure out. And so it's really cultivating, as we spoke of last night, cultivating that space of love and the willingness to listen. And, I mean, literally, we'll get direct instructions. I can remember the first time that I was able to receive a conscious, intuitive piece of information. And it was kind of strange. It was so succinct for me. This goes back about maybe 35 years ago. And I was working with someone, and my visual field, I'm looking at them. It was kind of strange, but this is how it opened for me. And I realized that there was an energy moving over to my left that I wasn't paying any attention to. And when I just let my eyes move over to the left, all of a sudden there was this whole different thing happening than what my eyes were seeing and feeding me. Okay. And it was just like, it's almost difficult to describe, but it was almost like I just did this little shift with my eyes where, and it wasn't really a physical looking, but I looked where I hadn't been looking, and I became aware there was this whole, block of information that I wasn't paying attention to. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that helps or gives you a clue, but it's really developing the skill of listening on the subtlest levels. And when the mind is making noise, pain and raging and sadness and grief, and to weaken that, to forgive that, so that this, what in the ancient teachings was called the still small voice, can be listened to.
Okay. Thank you so much. It sounds like what you're saying is that it's really, I remember even from last night that young woman that you spoke about, she just took some time to just breathe, and you kept encouraging her to just breathe, and it just came to her. So I think what you're saying is that it's incredibly powerful to give yourself that space, and you don't necessarily need to go outside of yourself to do that. You don't need an external person to help you, or to do that work for you. You can actually do it yourself. You have the power of doing it yourself.
Exactly. The whole objective is to connect each person with their inner source, not with some outside authority, some outside power. There is no outside power that is an authority. The true authority for every person is inside of them. And, when people play the ego game of, you've got to come to me for the answers. No, the answers are inside of us. All we need to do is cultivate the ability to listen.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much, Dr. Rice. Thank you for all that you're doing.
Absolutely delighted. Thanks for calling in, Olivia. Blessings.
Thank you. Thank you. You keep listening.
All right.
And we have 2 hands up. So
Great.
the first one is, 541. You're on the air. I think this is Julie. Hello. 541.
Hello, Julie.
Hello.
How are you? Hello. We got you.
Can you hear me?
We got you.
No. Can you hear me?
We got you, Julie.
Hello?
You're loud and clear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. I didn't have my earbuds in. Excuse me.
Okay. So how are you, young lady? What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to respond to a couple of things. First of all, I just yesterday heard of a great way to have your stuff picked up, I gather that you're getting rid of stuff. And is that correct, Jeanie?
Yes.
Yes, I've been cleaning out the shed up behind the house, and Dad kept everything. I mean, some things he even had written on it doesn't work or bad, or it's like, but he still kept it. So, just cleaning to make space.
Yeah, well, there's this group, and I think they're everywhere. These youth groups that of churches, and they go into other countries and they help build homes or bring goods for them. And they haven't been able to do it for a couple of years, understandably. And so this Presbyterian church group here is having a day or a couple of days coming up where they'll come and actually pick up your stuff. Then they take it to their own huge yard sale, sell everything, and take that to these other countries where, for example, this group is building homes, 2-bedroom homes, the size of a shed almost, I've heard, in Baja, Mexico, for families who have nothing. And it's a great way to move value around for somewhere where it's appreciated and needed. And so I don't know what they're doing in your area, but this is like the first month of spring, basically, and they're out there doing this. So I'm gathering my stuff together that's been waiting for a place to go. And it's a wonderful...
Great, good thought. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, there's that. And then there's this show that is 2 parts on HBO. It's 2 parts, and I think both parts are 2 hours. I've only seen the first part. It's called Agents of Chaos. Okay, have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, it would speak to what Jeanie's been going through with people messing with her on Craigslist. And I know that stuff comes up for you, Jeanie, and you have to be responsible for all that. But
right,
like Michael was reminding. But it's very eye-opening if it is true. You never know what's really true and what they're wanting us to believe. But they, excuse me, I said it again. But there are those who are doing this thing of churning our minds with false realities, and they are paid to study it and then turn it. And it's directed, this particular show that so far has zeroed in on Russia, coincidentally, and how they study our psychology and what's important to us and all of this. They hire these younger people, a whole force of people who need jobs, and these people are waking up, the ones who've been doing this work for them, and they're saying, wait a minute, this is really bad. I think they knew it, but, they're coming forth with it. So it's a mind control game.
Interesting. I'll have to watch for it.
Yeah. And then, Jeanie, there was one more thing I was going to say. What was it in my list to you? Let's see here.
Well, you're thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, there's nothing else on my mind. Right. I'm good. Go ahead.
I was going to say that back about, 25 years ago, I did a conference, and it was a conference for people who ran centers for all around the world, healing centers. So there were people from just about every country in the world. And I can remember that there was one person in particular, and I would put him in the category of an agent of chaos. And each time, doing process work, and each time we would do some processing work with someone who was agitated, someone who was angry, someone who was upset. And this person would start to open and start to breathe and move through it. This person would jump in and stir the pot, and it really looked like someone who had been trained to make sure that nobody really settled into a healed space, but just kept the kept stirring the pot. So I think there are people who that's their game, and everybody's got a game to play.
But it's really easy. The simple, whatever it is in math, and when we were studying for tests, if any part of it is false, the whole thing is false.
Right.
So,
yep.
That really lines me up pretty fast.
For sure, and there's lots of falsity out there. It's definitely wake-up time.
I'm feeling pretty good, in fact, even though I've gone through some sorrow. There was this girl from the Ukraine that an interviewer was interviewing 2 days ago or maybe yesterday, and I was watching, and it really resonated with me, brought me to tears. The interviewer was, as compassionately as possible, interviewing this younger woman of having gone through a recent explosion. And he was asking questions, and one of them was, did you lose anyone close to you? What a question. And she just broke up, and all my friends. That's what she said. All my friends.
Wow.
And she was, at the end, he said, is there anything else you would like to say and have us know? And so she said, again, breaking up, the full, raw emotion of cherish the moment, cherish the sky. Cherish the sky. And she was looking up all around like as if she's looking at the sky. And I was imagining that when she looks up at the sky, she doesn't know what's going to be coming down from it, or the blast of light and explosions that she'll be seeing in the sky. And a simple thing like that, cherish every moment, was all she could say, cherish the sky. And it's inspiring me to write a song. So I'm writing a song about it. I don't know if
cool.
So I'm capturing it in a way, that's what artists do, I think,
Yeah, go for it, girl. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, Ringo Starr was on some late night show like Johnny Carson. I don't know why it came up on YouTube for me to watch, but it came up, so I took a look, and he was describing how he wrote the song with George Harrison called In an Octopus's Garden. And,
right.
And that whole process. I mean, anything can be a song that, you just, you look for the poetry and where the depth of the message is.
Right.
And you bring it through your own artistic music, and give it some of the musical knowledge you have. And I know it's not easy for everybody, but, anything can be a song and communicate a message. And I think
we'll look forward to hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look forward to hearing your writing of Look Up at the Sky.
Yeah. Cherish the
cool.
sky.
Yeah. Cherish the sky. Yeah. Nice.
And also I feel like I'm going to be reaching out to her. Yeah, that whole message of, well, I'll be your friend. I'm your friend. I hear you, and I will give you my support. And then I was also going off on, the lie that we're all seeing, rhymes with sky. I mean, the way it works with me is really fun. I don't know, but I was also at the piano coming up with the war song, the sounds of the war. And anyway, just letting you know that, what am I letting you know? Thank goodness for the growth that I've been able to experience, and remember that I'm a human being, and remember that others are human beings. And perhaps the song will even have something about, put down your arms, Russia, be human, because we will forgive you. Forgiveness. The word forgiveness is not spoken or sung hardly anywhere.
I would strongly urge that we not invite anybody to forgive anybody, because we're taking people down the false path again.
I'll have to teach
we're in a space where we're willing to pardon, And then, and this would be a good turnabout in a song, and then to bring it back to, and I realized that I'm a participant in this, and it's my fear or my rage or my guilt that I need to forgive, and that we can do both sides of that equation.
Thank you. That reminds me, I also had a really powerful dream last night, and I think it was about war, symbolically in my mind, that I was having to go to work. I was having to go to work, and yet I said, well, I don't want to work anymore. I'm not working. I don't have to work. I'm not going to work, And not only that, if I were to work, it would be in my musical field. That's where my talents are. But they were not letting me. They were not letting me work with the piano and the concert hall and anything artistic. I was just being told to work the way they wanted me to work. And I just think I was tuning in to basically the down and dirty, raw enslavement that the aftermath of war can bring, where people don't get to live those full expressions of their human life, and it's just, that's what was in my psyche and what I dreamed. So another song to write.
Have you ever seen the film of Gods and Generals?
No.
Well, it's an interesting film about the Civil War of Gods and Generals, and it was done by Turner Broadcasting. And apparently Ted Turner is a really, deeply committed Civil War buff. And I remember watching that film, and I believe it was Jackson that was talking. I don't remember whether it was one of the generals or it might have even been with Lee. But anyway, their conversation was unfolding, and what he offered, what the line in the film that really got my attention is that they said, and this was the South talking at that point, or at least these perceptions from Jackson, and what he said was, if we lose this war, commerce and banking will take over America. And when you look at the educational, commerce and banking, yes. And when you look at, what runs our so-called educational system, it's all geared not to bringing in enlightened beings, not to bringing in human beings or even supporting human life. It's designed to support commerce. It's about making a buck. We have a job for you as we want to make you a good commercial servant, and here's what you do. You don't stand up in class. You sit down like you're supposed to do later in life when you're working a job, and you don't go to the bathroom without asking permission, and you follow the authority. And that's the so-called educational system, which is really indoctrination, because the word educate comes from the root educare. It means to draw out, to honor the being that we're working with and bring them into expression in their own bodies and world. So that was an interesting thought from that film, the Civil War.
Was that the last of the quote, Michael? Because it cut off for me. If we lose this war, our what?
Commerce and banking are going to take over.
But it said
America.
it will take over our education. Was there a word?
It will take over America.
Oh, take over America. Okay, thank you.
And it has.
Remember that word America? If you rearrange those letters, they're not exactly true, but you could say Aramaic with those letters, America.
Yeah.
Nothing will take over truth. It's only a cover-up. So, okay, well, I will let someone else come in and have conversation.
All right, young lady.
Thank you.
All right, you have a blessed one.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So we have one more hand up, and I believe it's Celinda.
Awesome.
Possible one. You're on the air.
Gee, we haven't talked to you in so long, young lady. Welcome.
I know, and you know what? With the span of my mind, I forgot what I was going to say. So, but I think it might have been along the lines of what Julie was talking about, the age of chaos. I think people are so driven now by their fears and being on the treadmills of commerce and banking, that they just are so overscheduled that they can't even meet their time commitments anymore. I know I've had that all my life from a lack of intention and awareness, and also being so much in my right brain or whatever I will proceed to discover as I grow more brain cells, and probably because of my choice, because the whole world of commerce and banking and money were never important to me. So just to build a few compassion cells here for those of us who are running around with our heads cut off, or we believe we are, and have not developed the skills of priorities. I struggle with time issues all the time, so I'll just share that with you, because I live in now. Larry says that. You have no concept of time.
Have you looked at the Mind Goal Management worksheet?
Yes, I have. Until I can find within myself the brain cells and the understanding, the spiritual understanding of how to use that without going down a white rabbit hole, I will. But it's on my agenda. It's not there at the moment.
You might take a closer look at it, because it's pretty simple and straightforward. There is one slight complexity with it, and that is that, there's a process that you do each morning and a process that you do each evening, and they are interdependent. So the first time you do that worksheet, you kind of have to make up a piece, because wherever you start, it's predicated on you did the step before. So the starting point, you haven't done that step, so you have to you have to start in the middle, then once you get the cycle going. But it's really recognizing that what drives all behavior is our goals. And most people do not control their goals. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they overload themselves. Every time you set a goal, you create a stress. And people think, oh, I'm stressed because of that out there. No, I'm never stressed because of what's going on in my life. I'm stressed because of the goals I have in my mind. And that's a good thing. Stress is wonderful until you get to overwhelm with stress, until you have too many goals. You go back to Yeshua 2,000 years ago, and the Greeks translate his words, and it doesn't make much sense in the English language as the Greeks translated, but when you get to the Aramaic, it's like, oh, wow, what a piece of information. And what he says is, sufficient for the day are the evils thereof. Now, the way the Greeks translate, it's like, what the heck does that mean? Sufficient for the day are the evils thereof. But in the Aramaic language, the word evil relates to completion or ripened. So he's saying, sufficient for the day. Only have goals for those projects that are ripe for you, that are completable today. If you can't complete a project today, or a goal that you hold about a project, then you want to cancel that goal, because if you want to apply forgiveness there, because every time you set a goal, it creates a stress, and stress uses resources. And so the simple in and out of that mind goal management sheet is that each night before you go to bed, you cancel all goals from the day before. And you ask to be shown any goals that you hold from any time in your life and cancel them. Because once you set a goal into the mind is going to continue to work to prompt you to achieve that goal until you either achieve it or cancel it. And so many people hold stresses from literally years and years and years and years in their lives, because their goals they've never achieved and never canceled, and they wonder why they're so loaded up with stress. So start looking back and, take a look. There's actually a workshop we do called Getting the Stress You Need. in that workshop, we do a meditation, and the meditation is going back and looking at, your earliest relationship with mom. Were there any goals that you held for her that she never achieved? Any goals that you had toward her that you never achieved? Then cancel them. Then dad. Then self. Then, your relationships, your education, your own body. All kinds of places we can be carrying around goals that we don't even know are there, and we wonder why we're stressed. So that's kind of the gist of the evening part of that worksheet. And then you look at, well, what's reasonable for me to achieve tomorrow? And I frame goals for tomorrow. I don't set them. I just frame them. And I frame them so that when I go to sleep, one, I have no goals except for deep regenerative sleep. So I'm sleeping stress-free, and I'm asking Ruka for guidance on these goals that I've framed. I don't know how I'm going to do this, particular thing that I need to do. And if I frame that goal the night before I go to sleep and ask for guidance, oftentimes I'll be shown in dreams, or I'll just wake up and I'll know what to do. I'll know how to do it, because dreams can be a really powerful listening time. And then the section you do, so the next morning on awakening, you look at all the goals that you framed, and there are a couple of things to check off. Is this a goal I really want to achieve? Is this goal in harmony with my life purpose? Is this goal in harmony with love? Do I still want to do it? And you check those things off, and once you've gone through that process, then recognizing that, yes, this is something that I can reasonably do today, then I set the goal. I lock in on it. And now I have a very constructive, positive stress that will motivate me to achieve that goal. If by the time I'm ready to sleep again, or, if it's 3 p.m, I recognize, well, that goal was supposed to be done by 2, I didn't get around to it, I'm not going to get it done today, I want to cancel it right now, because I don't need to waste my resources thinking about a goal that I was supposed to achieve at 2 o'clock, and that it's now 3 and I'm not going to get it done. So I want to be aware of that. And so as you start to consciously manage goals, you manage the purpose of your mind's functioning, and it changes everything. Like, why did they teach us that in kindergarten?
3 things have come out of that. When I worked with it for about a month. In fact, Magda even tried to help me work with it, and the simple things. However, I didn't have enough understanding to make the connection between the forgiveness worksheet as a canceling of goals and the goals worksheet as a canceling of goals. So that's wonderful. That's good information. I'm just now at a place where I can do that. And there are a couple of things that happened that I'll say real quick, because I know we're getting close to the end of the call. One is when you said sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, I realized that the evil are on all of those unripe goals, the unripe goals that we can't accomplish. And another one is that as the way of mastery is sharing, we have to get in touch with our desires. And so most of my goals were on neediness or needs. I need to do this, or shoulds and oughts and musts.
And oftentimes those are leftover goals from childhood.
Right, but we
often
don't recognize
they're leftover things. Yes.
Right, and so I'm just on the treadmill. I might cancel the goal, but it's still there because it hasn't been canceled as an invalid goal. And so it's about
and it may not be
self-acceptable.
Yeah, it may not be an invalid goal. The goal may be one that's perfectly appropriate, but I'm not going to get it done tomorrow, so I don't need to carry it around with me. It may be something I'm not planning to do until next month, and so I have a calendar, and I put it in my planner for next month. So I don't have to carry it around. I don't have to use any of my mental resources. It's kind of like a computer. You know, if I open my email program, things zip right along, work well. I open my email and my drafting program, and things move pretty well. I open my word processor, and things are starting to slow down. By the time I've opened my drawing program and my CAD program, my computer crashes because all of the resources are used up. And so the minute you recognize this goal is not achievable for me today, I want to cancel it. And when I do that, I get my resources back. I have more capability. I have more intelligence available to me to apply to the achievement of the goals that are doable in this next waking period.
Yeah, and
so I hope that helps.
I didn't realize. Yeah, it does help, and I hope what that helps me see when you said your planner for the next month, because I had misperceived that I would either schedule up for the next day, and so that's very helpful. Thank you very much.
All right, young lady, well, we're down to the last few seconds. I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for spending this time with us, and have a blessed evening, and the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world.